Hello everybody and welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day as a Fat Person reaction video. I am not feeling as grouchy as I was when I filmed yesterday's video, so hopefully this one's a little bit better and a little bit more upbeat as we usually have them. My guess for what we're going to see today is going to be somebody say that they're not interested in weight loss but then eat very stereotypically healthy food. So please put your guesses down in the comments below and we will get into it.
What I eat in a day is a fat person who's not trying to lose weight. This morning my wife went to the gas station next door and bought me a Faygo for
a fizzy drink for breakfast is pretty nuts. I don't know what a Faygo is. I don't know if it's got sugar or anything in it, but that's a really big cup of fizzy drinks for breakfast. And the fact that her wife went out to go and get it from the convenience store is also kind of nuts, because you'd be much better off just having a glass of water or having some tea or something that is in the house. And if you are going to go to a convenience store, then you have better choices than buying a fizzy drink for breakfast. It's definitely not a choice I would make, but that's down to her.
Bought me a Faygo. For breakfast I had cereal. Later in the
that cereal is very non-natural colours. That's really bad English, but the colours are not real. They've clearly got some artificial colours in there and it's going to be very sugary. A lot of American cereal is the same way a lot of UK cereal is really sugary as well, but some of your colours are actually illegal in Europe, so we may not have exactly the same thing. But as I've said in many previous videos, cereal is not the best choice for breakfast, just because it does spike your blood sugar, it then spikes your insulin, and then you get hungry very quickly because it crashes and then you want food. We want sugar. So yeah, having a fizzy drink and then having sugary drinks and then sugary cereal for breakfast is a double whammy of bad choices. She'd be much better off, as I said, having a different drink and then having something else. Toast would be better. Toast with some eggs, toast with some bacon, toast with some sausages, or if you're not down for toast, then just have a protein source and then some eggs, salady things, some veggies, beans even, got to rep for my UK people here, and mushrooms, tomatoes. There are lots of different options that you can have for breakfast, and if you're not down with breakfast foods, then you can have jacket potatoes, curries, rice. There is whatever you want you can have for breakfast, but starting your day with sugary cereal just isn't really the way forward if you are being mindful of your health and how much food you're going to be wanting to eat the rest of the day. So we've had fizzy drink, sugary cereal, and now we've got hot chocolate with marshmallows. So hot chocolate in it, like naturally, has sugars in it. Some depending on what you get, so you can get some of the powders which aren't too bad, but then if you get the more luxurious ones that are more kind of like chocolate flakes, like Hotel Chocolat does some really nice hot chocolates, and they're like literally chocolate flakes and they're really, really tasty and really, really decadent. But the calories is kind of nuts, so you might be looking at 200 to 300 calories in a cup. But irrespective, this is probably a powder, so the sugars aren't going to be as crazy as something like that. The calories aren't going to be as bad either, but we've got marshmallows, and marshmallows are lots and lots of sugar, of course. They're marshmallows. So again, sugar and sugar and sugar. We've had no real food so far.
I had a hot chocolate. I love these with mini marshmallows on them. And for dinner I had buffalo chicken mac and cheese. That's all for the day.
There's no way that was all she ate in this day. There's just no way. But if we're looking at the mac and cheese, it looks really sad. It looks fake, and I don't know why it doesn't look real to me. I think it might be the type of cheese that's on it. I don't know if this is like box mac and cheese and therefore is like a powdery cheese and it's just come up like this. But if you make mac and cheese with pasta, obviously, and then you make like a roux and then you add cheeses into your roux and you use it like that, then you can get really nice creamy mac and cheeses that are going to be incredibly calorically dense. But if you have a normal portion of mac and cheese, even if it is creamy and cheesy, you can then pair it with some roasted asparagus, some broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. There are so many different veggies and stuff that pair really, really well with stuff like mac and cheese. Or even if you wanted to go the extra route, you could dice up some leeks or really finely grate some cauliflower and add the veggies into the mac and cheese itself, so you then don't have to mess around with making a separate veggie dish if you're not that way, you're not feeling that way for that day. So there are ways of making it better and still being able to enjoy mac and cheese. But this doesn't look very appetizing to me. She could have at least put some veggies through it, or had some on the side, or even had a piece of fruit on the side. And from this angle, we can see the Faygo. It's 130 calories. I don't know, that's probably per 100 milliliters or something, so it's definitely got sugar in it. So definitely a sugary fizzy drink for breakfast, then the cereal, then the hot chocolate, and now mac and cheese. Yeah, not very good
I
day.
had buffalo chicken mac and cheese. That's all for the day. Love.
As I said, there's absolutely no way that that was all she ate that day. There's no way. She's way too and I'm gonna say it straight, but she's way too big to be eating like that, because I've seen a few of her videos. They're not in this particular video that I'm making now, but she always has days like this. They're like, oh, I only licked an apple for dinner, and it's just like, well, that's not true, is it? And she just pretends that she doesn't eat anything, and it's just false, because it's physiologically impossible to eat as little as she does and be the weight that she is, unless she's on a major weight loss journey. But she's not, because first of all, she's not mentioned it, and secondly, she's not losing any weight. So it's just a falsehood, and I don't understand the point of doing that. I don't know if it's just engagement from people saying you're lying, or if she doesn't conceptualize what she's actually eating. I don't know which it is, and I don't know which is worse, but either way, there's no way. And if she did eat like this day, then the rest of the other days are going to be incredibly calorically dense to maintain her body weight.
You. Bye.
What I eat in a diet of fat girl. Eggs.
I'm gonna remove her music and I'll be back. So we are back with her video with no music on, so let's go.
Eggs Benedict.
That is a huge portion. That is a lot of food. So we've got 2 poached eggs and then the hollandaise sauce for the eggs benedict. And whilst it's nice, I had it once, it wasn't my favourite thing, I probably wouldn't order it again. It is incredibly high in fats due to the nature of the hollandaise sauce. So you've got egg yolk and butter. So very, very high in fats, quite rich as well. And we're in a restaurant, so not only is it going to be egg yolk and butter, they might add something else to it to make it more creamy, because it is a restaurant and you don't know how they've prepared it in general. So it's going to be a lot higher in calories than it would be if you were going to make it at home, for example. And then we've got these things that look like hash browns, but they're not as fried as hash browns. I don't know what they are. They look like potato cakes, maybe? They look a little bit like Irish potato cakes, so it could be that. And then we've got some kind of cream, maybe sour cream, and I don't know what that is. That looks like apple sauce. I don't know. But yeah, this is a really, really big portion. Generally, in my experience, when you have eggs benedict, you have the 2 eggs with the sauce on a slice of toast. Maybe 2 slices of toast in some places, but in general, it's like 1. So this is a humongous portion, and as I said, she's in a restaurant. It's going to be a lot more calorically dense than it would be if you were to make it at home, for example.
Coffee with cream and sweetener.
What type of cream is used in coffee? Because I've never ever seen anybody add cream to coffee. I've only ever seen people add milk. So is it like the normal, like, not whipping cream, the cream that you'd use for something like an apple pie? Is it the same stuff? And I don't mean that to be an arse, I genuinely don't know. I find it really, really interesting, and most of my audience is American, so I love hearing about what you guys have to say about foods in different areas and stuff. I find it fascinating. But anyway, we're getting off topic. So yeah, she didn't use loads and loads of cream, but also she didn't just use a splash. And sweetener is better than sugar, but it does still affect your blood sugar in the same way, because your body tastes sweet and it thinks it's sugar, so it releases insulin the same way. So it's not ideal. It's a good looking egg. Poached eggs are the superior egg. I love poached eggs.
Potato pancakes with sour cream.
Ah, so it was potato pancakes. Fair enough. It looks like she's added some sugar, but I don't think she has. I think that's just the way it's like crisped up as it's been cooked. As I said, an absolutely enormous portion in a restaurant. So this is going to be incredibly rich. So this, I imagine, would sit quite heavily in the stomach and would take quite a while to digest. But that's just an assumption. It wouldn't surprise me if she had quite a light dinner, just because of how much food she's having now. Does look good though. Can't lie, does look good.
Alani drink floats.
More of these Alani drinks, and she is clearly in some kind of shop, whether it's like a convenience store, if it's like a normal supermarket or whatever it is. I don't necessarily believe that she didn't get a snack here, and I don't mean that to be mean or to just make judgments on what I think because what she looks like or anything like that. It's not based on her appearance, it's based on her eating habits that she shows us. I wouldn't be surprised if she got a snack. I wouldn't be surprised if she got a snack and didn't tell us either. But anyway.
High chili chicken.
Christ.
Bourbon chicken. And low meat.
That's definitely a choice after the breakfast. That is definitely a choice. I definitely wouldn't do that. I would feel very unwell. Because that just looks like oil and heartburn to me, and no shade if you like this kind of food, it's just not my bag. It would not react well with me at all. I can just look at it and I know I would feel ill. But yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with this food or the breakfast that she had. There's nothing wrong with it in general, but having them both on the same day is probably not the best choice. So if you really enjoy going out for breakfast, there's no harm in that, as long as you're not doing it every single day. I mean, if you can and you can afford it, then more power to you. But if you are being mindful, then you can have your big breakfast like the one that she had, but just pair it with something a little bit lighter in the evening. So have some more salady based meals with some clean protein and a nice starch. Then that would be really quite nice, and you wouldn't have a stomach full of kind of fats and grease right before you go to sleep, which is going to interfere with your digestion and probably interfere with your sleep as well. Or the alternative is correct as well. If you're having a really big meal at the end of the day, then have a lighter breakfast and a lighter lunch, and then work it out like that. Not even necessarily for weight loss or anything like that, but just so you don't feel as heavy as I imagine she did at the end of this day, because that is a lot of food for your body to process, and it's not the best food, so just be careful.
What I eat in a day is a fat girl who knows she's fat and doesn't care about losing weight.
I always, as I've said before, find these intros really strange. It's like, you know you're fat, but you don't care about losing weight. It's like, when you're big like this, you don't have to put that much effort into losing weight. And I know losing weight is hard, believe me, I've been there. But I've never been this big. Never. I think the highest I got up to was 196 pounds, and I'm 5'7". So I was never in the 200s, thankfully. But and that was right after a spinal injury as well. But irrespective of all of that, losing weight when you're bigger is a lot easier. It's the closer you get to what is healthy for your body, it's just harder. So the fact that she's like, oh, I don't care about losing weight, it's like, but you should. You should. There's a point at which being chubby becomes a concern. And you can have like 20 extra pounds on you and it's not really that big of a deal. But when you're talking 200 extra pounds on you, that's a problem. Because it's going to affect your life so severely. And whether that happens now, or if that happens in 10 years' time, when you're in the doctor's office, it doesn't really matter, because you can deal with it now. You can't determine what happened in the past. That's happened, it's gone. You can't change it. But you can determine your present, and you can, to an extent, determine your future. And if you want to have an unhealthy future, then continue as you are. if you've got terrible eating habits. But if you want to live a long, healthy and happy life, and where you don't feel self-conscious, you're not sweating constantly in the summer, then you can make changes today that will help you get to where you want to be. And if you don't feel that you can achieve it on your own, that's okay. No one's going to fault you for that. Everybody knows losing weight is very difficult. Changing habits of a lifetime is very difficult. If you need some help, talk to people, talk to a professional, go to your doctor, and they will help you. Especially if you're in a country where there is an obesity epidemic. They don't want people to be obese. It puts a strain on the healthcare system, and it puts a strain on your body as well. Speak to a doctor, they will definitely help you or point you in the direction of where you can get some assistance. Do what you need to do for yourself, and don't just accept being uncomfortable in your body because you don't think you can do any better. You can do better, and you deserve to do better too.
Losing weight. I started off with the homemade strawberry lemonade and nothing.
That looks good, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, that the drink looks tasty. And it looks like it'd be incredibly refreshing in the summer. I would love to know how she made it. I'm really curious. Instant ramen. Healthy.
It reminds me more of my childhood summers than a cup of noodles and a sandwich. So that's what I had. It was so...
I'm not gonna lie, that sandwich looks pretty good as well, as sandwiches go on this channel, because it's so full of meats, and it's got some avocado in it, and it looks like a little bit of cheese up here as well. She doesn't say what it is, unfortunately, so we don't know for sure. But this is a nice sandwich. There's some girth to it. It just looks good. So I would probably have the avocado, which I wouldn't mix up the meats like this, primarily because I don't like salami and I don't really like ham. And then I wouldn't have the cheese in something like this, and then I would just have a lot more salad stuff to it, just to make up for the less meat. So that's what I would do. But this is a meal, and the ramen is a meal. She's having 2 meals for lunch. And if you're going to have this sandwich, you can have like an apple or a portion of chips, if that's your bag, then have that too alongside it, just to make it more kind of rounded. But if you do have chips, then do probably add some berries or something. But yeah, it is 2 meals for lunch.
That's what I had. It was so delicious. And if you don't dip your sandwich into the soup, you're weird. And don't even try arguing with me. Then later that day, I had...
One thing that she said that I kind of skipped over then was that this is a childhood food for her. Let's see what she says again.
And nothing reminds me more of my childhood summers than a cup of noodles and a sandwich. So
there. Nothing reminds me more of my childhood than a cup of noodles and a sandwich. That right there is quite sad, because it just goes to show that she was fed improper portions from childhood, because that was too much food for an adult. It's definitely too much food for a child. So the fact that she was fed that as a small child, and yes, we don't know the portions at which she was fed that, but irrespective, a cup of noodles is going to be plenty for a child. A sandwich like that is going to be enough for a child. So she's been taught from a very young age to overeat, so it's not a surprise that as an adult she's still got massive weight issues. Because clearly she does. Clearly she has problems with food. You don't get to be that big if you don't have some form of issue with food. Like with all of us who've been overweight or been obese, we can recognise in ourselves where we went wrong, what happened, why did we get to where we were. And we can all recognise that. Whether you want to admit that to other people or not is neither here nor there. So it does put a toll on the body, even at a young age, and whether she faces the consequences now or in a few years, they will be there if she doesn't change her diet.
With like cucumbers and strawberries. Then I had...
Did look like another nice drink, I'm not gonna lie.
I had Cheetos and dip, and I used dairy-free yogurt with a dip packet. For all my dairy-free babes, this is a hack. Then
it is a hack if you're dairy free, but also weigh out your chips, because she's got 2 family size sharing bags here, and if you're just eating them out of the bag, then it is going to be incredibly easy to eat 4, 5, 6 portions of chips. Put them in a bowl, weigh out portion, and then have your portion of chips and put them away. If you can't do that, don't have family bags. That's why I don't have family bags in the house, because I can't do that. I just go back to them all day. I just can't have them. But yeah.
My husband actually made dinner, and he made a pizza with zucchini crust and Brussels sprouts.
Not gonna lie, that pizza looked good. And if you can find ways of making pizzas that are a little bit healthier, then you should do that. And the veggies look quite nice as well. It does look quite greasy, but it's been made at home, so it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as if you were going to get it from a pizza place. So I can't really fault it, to be honest. It's pretty good for pizza.
And at Brussels sprouts.
But also that wasn't a lot of food realistically in terms of how often she ate. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were some more snacks that she just didn't share with us.
Everything I eat in a day as a fat girl who eats whatever feels right for me.
I know I literally look like a white dog turd.
She said she eats whatever feels right for her. And it's just like, which part of you enjoys that food? Your organs or the cravings? Because having the garbage food that she eats, and she does eat a lot of garbage, may make her feel better in the now because it's her addiction being fed. But in a couple of years' time, when her bones have been damaged from all the weight pressing down on them, or her organs are starting to struggle because of all the weight that's and the pressure on them, then I wonder if the food tastes as nice.
Right here, but my parents stopped.
Gas station addition, 2 boiled eggs, Built Bar, and cheese curds. The eggs are great. The Built Bar is kind of unnecessary, and the cheese curds look interesting. What she could have done if she was at a gas station, get the eggs, get the cheese curds. Don't have the whole packet though, I don't think, unless that's a portion, I don't know. I've never seen cheese curds like this. And then instead of the Built Bar, try and find some like cooked protein sauce of some description that she could have. So like a container of like cooked chicken breast or chicken thighs or whatever. Then have that with your breakfast and it would be much better.
I got hit and killed, so I was crying and lacking sleep.
That doesn't look very appetizing to me. That reminds me of a bar of soap.
For lunch, I'm having split pea soup with chicken, carrots, celery, and onions.
Looks pretty good.
I'm having a blueberry banana protein shake.
Psych, no you're not, bitch.
I got distracted and I didn't actually drink my protein shake earlier, so here we are having protein shake number 2. This one is a skinny chai protein shake.
She is another one that does like to eat her protein out of non-protein normal sources. So she likes the ultra-processed manufactured protein as opposed to real protein sources like chicken and fish, or meats, I should say, or animal products, or tofu if you're veggie. She would probably feel so much less hungry and so much less in need of things like protein shakes if she just ate real food. Her breakfast was not as bad as some of them, but it was still very small. And if you're a big girl like she is, then eating tiny portions like that is a really, really good way of making sure that you eat a lot at the end of the day. Been there, done that 1,000 times. So it's good that she's drinking protein shakes as opposed to 700 calorie drinks like from Starbucks and stuff, but she would be better off actually eating her calories because that's more tasty and that's more fun.
Tonight I'm having lazy girl dinner. It's a barbecue pork bun.
It's been a long day and I'm probably out of calories for the day, but I don't really know because I didn't track them well today. I also didn't do very well on water today. I think I refilled my cup like twice, but that's okay. This is your...
It is okay and it's not okay. It is okay because you can do what you want. It's not okay because you'll face consequences if you continue to eat and drink like this. This is very... bad bones are quite tasty, don't get me wrong. And it's got like, the filling looks really good as well. It's going to be relatively high in protein just because of the nature of it. But it looks very stodgy as well at the same time because there is so much more like bun than filling. The ratios are a little bit off for what I would like. So it's not the best, but at the same time it's not the worst either. And she definitely didn't eat that many calories. So for her to say I'm probably over my calories does kind of suggest that she was eating stuff off camera as well, because she had a protein shake, this bao bun, and the 2 boiled eggs, the cheese curds, and the Built Bar. So it's probably little more than 1,000 calories. So I don't know how she'd have gone over on what she showed us. So she probably is eating off camera.
That's okay. This is your friendly reminder that it's a journey, not a race. Just because you have a bad day doesn't mean you have to give up.
True, and don't give up. But at the same time, if you're finding that every other day or 3 times a week you're struggling and you're going over calories or you're not drinking enough water, then yeah, it's not a race, but you are going on a journey. And if you're tripping up every other day, then maybe you need to reevaluate how you're going about your journey, if there's a different path that you can take, or if there's somebody that can help you. Because there are plenty of people that will hold your hand and go on this journey with you, and they will be supportive and they will be there to help pick you up when you fall over. And you just need to find those people, and whether that's somebody in your family, a close friend, or a doctor, a medical professional, then that is down for you to decide for what is best for you. But you don't have to do it alone. And if the path that you're on, that you've chosen, isn't working for you, you can go on to another one as well. It's not a single track either.
Keep going.
Hey, here is what I eat in a day as a happy fat woman. I started off with lunch, my favorite meal of the day. I grabbed my little rice and bean and cheese burrito with some avocado. Got a little Havarti too to put in there. Now, I do want to say this on top. I think I am becoming gluten intolerant, so let's just keep track of the flour products that I choose to eat today. Flour tortilla. This is one of the burritos that you have to unwrap to rewrap to microwave, and then I did my angel numbers 111 on 1111. I've been thinking a lot recently why I love posting these videos so much, and it's because I am so committed on being the happy, fat, positive role model I wish I had as a child or an adolescent.
I think it is important for all children and young people to know that they are more than their appearance. I don't think little girls or little boys should be taught that what they look like is the most important thing, or what they look like has a determining factor on their worth, or anything like that. I think that's nonsense. But if a child is overweight or obese, it is not down to the child to lose weight. It's not for them to do, because they're children. It is the responsibility of the parents or caregivers to make sure that child is set up the best way they can possibly be for their future. And that does not include being obese. It is down to the parents and the caregivers and the adults around that child to make sure that they have healthy food choices and are getting exercise. And you don't have to tell a child you're on a diet because you're fat, because that's not going to be helpful. What you can do is make sure that there aren't bad foods in the house for them to go and get readily. You can have them available to the child in controlled ways. On Fridays and Sundays, for example, you have dessert or stuff like that. You don't have to not feed the children, and you can still give them things that they enjoy. But you don't have to tell them that they're on a diet, and you don't have to put them on Weight Watchers or give them replacement smoothies or anything like that. And exercise doesn't have to come from the direction of you're fat so you have to run. It can be, we're going to go play a sport today. Me and Daddy are going to go and we're going to go and play tennis, or we're going to go and play catch in the garden, or whatever it is. Put them in football, put them in rugby, cricket, whatever it is. Find something that your child or the child enjoys and make exercise fun for them. It doesn't have to be exercise, it can be playing. They're children. But this whole fat role model thing, I think there's a really thin line between showing children that at their weight that they are, they can be happy and still have fun and wear nice clothes and do all that kind of stuff, and telling them that it's perfectly okay. It's not okay. It's okay for children to be protected from the societal pressures of being overweight as an adult. But at the same time, the adults around that child need to feel the pressure to fix it for them, because it's no fun. And it is down to some adult around them that is in a position of not power, but is guardian over that kid to make sure that they are healthy. And being obese as a kid is not healthy at all.
I started my self-love journey by following folks online who are also fat and happy to understand that it was possible. Like, with all that being said, it
is possible to be fat and happy, but I think to an extent. I think once you're as big as she is, I don't believe that you can have good mental health and be this large. And I don't mean that as a personal attack on this woman in particular. It's not just this woman. But if you were happy, if you had a good mental state, you wouldn't eat yourself into morbid obesity. I just don't believe you would. And I also don't believe, as I've said in previous videos, that anybody who is super morbidly obese, if given the option of here's a tablet, if you take it tonight before you go to bed, you'll wake up in your dream healthy body, 120 pounds, 150 pounds, whatever is healthy for you at your height. I don't believe for a single second that any single one of them would say no. Maybe the ones that make money telling other people that it's okay to stay fat because that makes them feel better because they've got loads of fat people around them, it's not just them, they might maybe think about it. But I still think they'd take it. I still truly do.
I'm gonna find a happy, safe community here. I am such a committed block and deleter. I will never make money off of hate comments. That's just not my vibe. Because I
Fair enough. And she's having now Cheez-It. So she's had an ultra-processed burrito, which we didn't actually touch on. We didn't talk about the food, did we? So she's had an ultra-processed burrito with chicken and avocado and stuff in it, which is fine. There's nothing really that bad with it. It wasn't that big, so you probably add 2 apples or something with it just to make it more voluminous. And then she's having some Cheez-Its, which she didn't weigh out, she just ate out of the box. So again, very difficult to manage portion sizes like that.
want you to feel safe and comfortable when you go into my comment section so we can dilly-dally and chit-chat about all the silly girly things.
I understand wanting to go online and to not think about your weight and stuff, but at the same time, if you were really that happy about your weight and you were really that confident about it and you really didn't care, you wouldn't care what other people said to you. I had a really big issue when people in the past, when I was in my obese days as a kid, I really didn't like it when people called me fat. I didn't like it, and it hurt my feelings, and I didn't want people to do it because I wasn't happy about it. Like, if something truly doesn't bother you, you do not care if somebody mentions it. For example, if I have curly hair and I wear my hair in a way that it's very obvious that I have curly hair, if someone came up to me and tried to be derogatory towards me and say, oh, you've got curly hair, it looks like a mess. Well, babe, I know I've got curly hair. I know it looks like a mess. It's curly. It's what happens. Why would that affect me? I'm happy about that choice that I've made. So why would your opinion hurt me? It's exactly the same principle. They say that they're happy and whatever being fat women, but then block and delete you the second that you say something. They're not happy about it at all. And they would 100% wake up thin tomorrow if they could.
Off my soapbox, I had some cheeses while watching Survivor, and I needed a little Granny Smith with peanut butter and hazelnut spread, my fave.
How much peanut butter and hazelnut spread do you think she's going to have? Do you think she's going to pretend to be healthy and only have the tip of the knife on each slice of apple? Or do you think she's going to put like a tablespoon of each onto each slice? I'm undetermined. I'm going to say half and half. I think she's going to put about a teaspoon of peanut butter and a teaspoon of hazelnut on each slice of apple.
Granny Smith was so big, I honestly put some in the Tupperware. Hopped over.
Oh, she did show us. My guess was wasted. But the thing with stuff like that is if you weigh it out, having peanut butter or chocolate spread with apples is delicious. It's also delicious if you have it with bananas. But it is definitely something that you have to weigh out.
To our friend Joe's place, we need a little
more ultra processed. We being my husband and I split one. Okay, so she had half of this enormous brownie. That's a brownie. Wow, that's pretty cool. I could not have this in my house. I would eat the whole thing in one day. And then I would throw up. That is a lot of brownie. That's 125 grams of brownie they had each. Damn, that's crazy. We needed a little pumpkin blondie brownie on the way home. Oh, so it was a blondie brownie. Oh, okay, fair enough. That is a lot of sugar after a day of not eating very much. So I'm not surprised that she felt the need to have this, and that's why you should never ever go shopping when you're hungry, because you pick up the stuff that you don't need. So I started a new job today and I didn't eat anything all day because I don't know why, I was just stressed out and I didn't. I know damn well that if I'd have gone into Tesco on the way home, which I was going to do, I'd have bought some sushi that I don't need and I'd have eaten it all, even though I've got plenty of food at home, and I actually had a packed lunch with me that I didn't eat. So I didn't do that. I just came home and ate my lunch for dinner and I feel fine, and now I don't feel the need to go and get sushi. So yeah, don't go shopping when you're hungry. You pick up stuff like this that you don't need. I've also been known to go to the shop when I'm hungry and pick up donuts, so I just don't do that anymore.
Pumpkin blondie brownie on the way home. More gluten. And then it was bagel night. Also more gluten. Had a questionably soft avocado.
It looks perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. And also, the way she was cutting that avocado actually stressed me out. The really cool thing with avocado is that you can grow the seed. I love growing the avocado seeds.
I added some tomato, avocado, some tuna, well-seasoned tuna, and some feta cheese to the top of my toasted bagel, and we watched over the garden.
Not gonna lie, looks really good. That looks really, really tasty. she probably could have done with having this before she went out and got the bagel, went out and got the brownie blondie thing, and she might not have felt the need to have as much of the blondie brownie as she did. So if she'd have had this first, then she still could have gotten the brownie, but rather than having half, she could have had maybe an eighth, because that should have been enough, and I imagine that's about of a portion, or maybe even a quarter. But to have half of it and then have a dinner is a bit silly.
Fall, it is just a classic autumn watch for us. I love it. Finish the night with some Kinder, which is actually a German chocolate that I thought.
Kinder is nice. Yeah, we have Kinder here in the UK, obviously, because we're best buds with Germany, and yeah, it's nice. It's okay. I prefer Cadbury, but I'm biased. Of course I do. I'm pretty sure Cadbury's English, or well, UK. And if I'm wrong, forgive me. But yeah, it's alright. But she has had a brownie, and she's had Cheez-Its, and she had the apple with peanut butter and chocolate spread. You don't need Kinder chocolate on top of all of that as well.
I discovered when I was 17 and traveling on like a student ambassador program. Came back and then Kinder was all over supermarkets. I was kind of mad about it.
Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, Kinder is nice, as I said. It's much better than some of the American chocolate that I've had. I don't mean that as a slight on your chocolate, obviously, but I think it's kind of like what we're used to over here. It just tastes really different. So if you get the opportunity, if you've never had it before, do try Kinder and do try Cadbury. It's really good. But yeah, so I'm not going to talk about too much more because I did talk an awful lot today. So it's a bit of a longer video today. So if you've made it this far, thank you for being here. If you haven't made it this far, then you won't hear me say this. But please let me know down in the comments what you did like, what you didn't like, if you thought I was wrong, if you thought I was right. Yeah, just if you have anything to say, please let me know. And thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.